Hey everybody, this is Tracy here for another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to recap Power Season 4, Episode 6, which was titled New Man. I hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend. It started off raining here in St. Petersburg, but hopefully it'll clear up as the day goes on. So let's go ahead and get into this recap because there is a lot to cover. So Ghost is out and waking up alone. Yes, brother man. First of all, he woke up from a nightmare where he was killing Clyde Williams. And he looks up and then he looks around and realizes that Tasha ain't even been in the room. Her side of the bed is still made up. The pillows still propped up. The sham's still there. Everything. So he gives us a little treat, you know, by dropping his drawers and getting into the shower. So he gets all dressed up, you know, ready for work. And he goes in to talk to Miss Tasha. And she is in the kitchen fiddling around, and I'm just thinking Tasha has got a little attitude with her. She's like a brand new person. She didn't even have the kids at home to greet their dad when he came in. So goes looking all around like, well, where are the kids? Tariq spending the night with some boy named Calvin, Raina at another sleepover, and then I keep forgetting that they have a young child, and so that baby was with the mother, with Tasha's mom. So Ghost was feeling kind of, you know, some kind of way, and then he's looking at Tasha like, well, where did you sleep last night? And Tasha said that she slept in Raina's bed, but Tasha looked like she was just coming in. She didn't look like she had done got up, took a shower, and got dressed. She looked like she was just walking in that door when Ghost came into that kitchen. So Ghost, you know, he's realizing that regret is a beast, and he's trying to, you know, talk to Tasha and say that he, you know, is over Angela and he's done with her and he's sorry that he let any of that take place and interrupt and interfere with what they had. But Tasha isn't buying the remorse, and she points out to him that, you know, just the day before, Angela was in the courtroom blowing up her whole world to get Ghost free, so she isn't ready to jump back on the bandwagon. So he heads over to the club, and it was so funny because somebody on Twitter pointed out that Ghost looked happier at Truth than he looked in his own home. And that was the truth until Simon Stern walked through the door. So he showed up to call in that loan that Tasha took out with him. And so Stern says that he gave Tasha so much money that he can't even write, that he couldn't even say the amount. You know, it was sort of like, you know, when people be doing the business deals, or if you wouldn't see the movie Girls Trip, where Regina Hall and her husband was in with the lady from the corporation that wanted to sign them, and when they asked what were they talking about, and she pulled out the piece of paper and wrote the number down. That's when you know you're dealing with wealthy people. Like, there's a difference between rich people and wealthy people, and when they can't even say the number out loud, they got to write it on a piece of paper and slide it to you. You know you're dealing with a whole bunch of money. So when Stern wouldn't say how much money he gave Tasha, he just said it was a whole lot of money. That got me to thinking that he gave Tasha in the millions of dollars. So he said Ghost ain't got to pay the money back though. All he wants Ghost to do is to be the face of this real estate deal that he's trying to put together in order to get minority business loans and, you know, basically to rip the government off like, you know, wealthy people do, because that's how they get their wealth. You know, white folks been stealing land and everything else from black people since they got over here in these Americas, and before they made it to America, when they were still over there in Britain, they was just stealing and pilfering from people. So now he wants Ghost to be the face of this real estate venture. So he was telling Ghost that, you know, not only will it help him, but it'll also help Ghost build his image and prove to the world that he really is this legit businessman, and it'll make great PR, you know, considering, you know, what Ghost has gone through and continues to go through. So Ghost looking at him like, dang, I ain't been out of jail for 12 hours and y'all already coming at me with this nonsense. So this fool says that diversity is all the rage these days, and oh, let's go order some Chinese food because I love the Chinese food and the Chinese people. I'm like, gosh, you might have to kill Simon Stern to get him out your life. So if this one white boy wasn't getting on Ghost's nerves, here come Teresa calling from the jailhouse. And he want to know why Tommy ain't called him yet. And Ghost like, man, I just got home. Give me a minute. I'm going to get Tommy on the phone with you, but I need to breathe. I need to get some things straight first. So Teresa, you know, he's a little impatient, but Ghost say, you know, you got to hold on a second. You know, I'm going to hook this up for you. So Ghost returns home to confront Tasha about this money. So she's sitting at the table having dinner alone like she's the godfather. Tasha was sitting at the head of the table with her little food and her placemat and her bottle of champagne. And I thought it was funny that she had the champagne in the glass, but then she had another glass sitting on the table like she was waiting on Ghost to walk in at any second. And she poured him some champagne, so they talking and everything. And so he asked her about the loan from Stern, and she's like, oh yeah, well, you know, we ain't had no money to pay the bills, so I had to do something. But he said we can pay it off in time. I mean, she was just like so unbothered that he looking at her like, girl, I done did all this to get from under this man and get him out of my business, and then you just go and put him right back in our business. Like, what is wrong with you? And then he said something about the money, and I think he was talking about the money that they got from Milan's security firm, because remember they were trying to get money to get Ghost out of jail before they realized he wasn't going to get bail. And he told Tommy to go get the refund from the security company. So he looking at Tasha like, okay, well, y'all ain't get me out on bail, so what did you do with that money? And I'm just like, oh my God, Tasha, like, what have you done? And then it was like, why would she go and take all this money from Stern, which I still think was a lot of money. We're going to eventually find out how much. But why would she take all that money from him when the assets were going to be released like in a matter of days? It wasn't like it was going to take weeks or months for the feds to release the assets. So, you know, and I know that Silver told her to do it, but Tasha, you know, a little smarter than that. And then it was right then when something hit me. And I said to myself, you know, Tasha and Silver were just a little too close for people who had just met, and for her to be a woman that was concerned about the future of her husband and her kids' father and this empire, you know, this drug empire that they done built. So then I just started replaying in my mind how when Silver kept showing up at the apartment like it was nothing, like he was used to being at the apartment, and how, you know, she was calling him Terry, and then it was the scene where they hugged and he was like rubbing her back and smelling her hair. I think I mentioned that in the last video. And then when they got to court and she was trying to tell him something, and then he said, don't worry about it. And then he called Ghost up to the stand instead of Tasha. And I'm like, okay, he been trying to set Ghost up for a minute here, and then maybe Tasha told him about Stern's offer, and then he told her to go and get that money, or to find the money, knowing that she was going to go to Stern to get the money. So now I'm thinking Tasha and Silver may have been having an affair behind Ghost's back. And then did Proctor know this when he assigned Silver to the case? Like, did he know that there was a connection, or is he going to be blindsided by this whole thing also? Then while Ghost, you know, he walks over to the window and he thinking like, Tasha ain't acting right now. So then Tasha, you know, she's still being all cool, calm, and collect. And then she starts stroking his ego and telling him, you know, that deal with Stern, that's going to work in your favor. And you're a smart man, baby. You know, you're going to figure out a way to turn this thing around and make it a win for you. Go ahead and use it for the PR and the press. And I know you're going to figure something out. So Ghost was still looking at her like, okay, I'm going to file this in the back of my mind, but it's going to come back up and we're going to talk about this later. And so the two of them end up at an impasse because Ghost goes and sits down at the table and he's like, I don't trust you, Tasha. Then Tasha looked at him and said, well, I don't trust you either. So we're going to have to figure out how to deal with this not trusting each other to get ourselves out of this situation. And I'm like, well, dang. Like, how you sleep with somebody that might be got a knife under their pillow? Y'all crazy. Oh, so earlier that day when Ghost first arrived at the nightclub, you know, and the feds were there taking the chains off the doors and removing the signs, you know, that the place had been seized. And so Kanan was sitting outside and he was waiting, you know, he was there to try and snatch Ghost, but there was just too much paparazzi, too many reporters and everything lingering around. And then Stern showed up, so Kanan couldn't go in. Well, honey, Miss Jukebox calls. She's like, what is taking you so long? You got to figure out how to get in there, get that Negro so we can take care of this whole situation. And I'm thinking, okay, now you got Tariq talking to you crazy, Kanan, and now you got Jukebox talking to you crazy. Like, who is running this show? And then I was thinking, you know what? You know, Kanan is kind of unpredictable, so I don't know if this is going to be bode too well for Miss Jukebox. She may want to slow her roll. So the following morning, Ghost is still trying to reach Tommy. Nobody knows where Tommy is. When Kanan rolled up on him on the sidewalk and threw him up against the, Ghost was going to get in his SUV, and Kanan threw him up against the door. And then Ghost was like, what? And then when Kanan flipped him around, Ghost looked like he saw a ghost. And he got in the truck and he was looking like, this Negro still alive? What the hell is going on? I mean, his face was priceless. It's like he was trying to figure out, like, if he was dreaming that Kanan was there, like he had dreamed about, you know, when he had killed Clyde Williams in that prison. Like, Lord, let me wake up from this here. But no, Kanan was really there up close and personal. So Kanan lets him know that they have Tariq and are holding him ransom. And then Ghost says that he doesn't have any money. You know, it's going to take him a while to get back straight. So Kanan tells him that not having money never stopped him from making money before. So he's going to figure something out. So I'm thinking at this moment, 50 Cent, not Kanan, 50 Cent is such a clown. And he really enjoys his role of Kanan. So he done knocked Ghost to the steering wheel. He like slapped Ghost on the back of the head, and Ghost's head went like this here. I was like, oh my God, this is so crazy right now. So, you know, they get to talking, and then Ghost rubbing his head like, damn, I got a headache. I need some BC powders. So they devise a plan to rob Tommy's stash house. And I'm like, oh Lord. And see, this is another sign that Tasha is living foul right now, because she didn't even, I don't even remember her asking Tommy for money when they said that they were freezing the assets. And I know that they had, you know, frozen the weave shop and all that, but Tommy still, she should have known that Tommy still had money somewhere that he could have helped her pay those bills. So that was another clue that Tasha and Silver are up to no good. So Kanan starts to laugh when Ghost says that they'll hit the stash house. And he's like, dang, man, you gonna rob from your own best friend? But then he says he's not surprised, because that's just the type of person that Ghost is. And so Kanan, they go in, you know, and Grim was guarding the stairwell. And so Ghost knock him out. Then they get on upstairs, and then they knock out the guy, you know, who was guarding the room where they were actually counting the money at. So they go in the room, you know, pull a gun on the guy and tell him, you know, they get ready to take the money, don't give him no issues. But he tried to be a hero. I think his name was Marcus. Marcus tried to be a hero, and Kanan blew his brains out. It goes like, dang, man, like it's bad enough I got to explain to Tommy why I stole his money. Now I got to explain to him why I killed the man counting the money. Like, Kanan, I'm going to need you to chill out and step back and let me handle this, brother. And Kanan looking at him like, dude, we got to do what we got to do. And I don't care about none of these people in here to get it done. So as they were getting ready to leave, Tasha called, and Kanan looked at the phone. Somebody had Ghost's phone, and he was like, oh man, it's your bitch. You know, but Ghost checked him real quick and said, no man, that's my wife. Like, we ain't gonna be doing this in Kanan. I ain't about to play with you right now. So Tasha's all at her wits' end because Tariq wasn't at Calvin's and maybe with some girl. And so Ghost lets her know that Tariq called him and that he's on his way to go pick him up. So just chill out and relax. And then Tasha, you know, she was like, well, why would he call you and not call me? And then Ghost was like, well, I'm his father. And it was dealing with a girl. So why wouldn't he call me Tasha? And then Tasha was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But I don't know if Ghost was trying to give her some signals on that phone call or what, but she was just like, okay, bye. So they on their way to go see about Tariq. So Ghost was trying to reason with Kanan on the ride and touch on his sensibilities. But Kanan's like, man, you sent me to prison for 10 years. You double-crossed me. You did this, you did that. Why I care about you and your son? Why do I want to listen to any of this foolishness that you're talking about? Then we move over to Tommy. So Tommy arrived in Chicago. You know, and he's still being Tommy, cracking jokes, cussing people out. They done took him up in some building that's, I don't know if the building was just being built or if they had purchased the building or refurbishing it or whatever, but they took Tommy up on the top floor and took his guns and everything and pushed him off the elevator. So this guy was waiting on him, Jason Michik, and so I guess he's over the Serbian mafia, and so he's talking to Tommy, and you know, Tommy like looking all over his shoulder like, what's going on, man? Is somebody gonna come up behind me and shoot me in my back, or you gonna push me out one of these windows? Like, what's going on? And the scene was so funny because it reminded me from The Wire when Stringer Bell met old dude, I can't think of his name. Remember the crazy one? I can't think of his name. But he was the one that killed Stringer Bell, and remember they was in that building and he shot Stringer Bell, which was very depressing for me. But anyway, so the guy Jason, you know, is talking to Tommy, and Tommy talking, you know, the small time drug dealer stuff about, you know, how he pushing drugs and, you know, once Ghost get out and everything. And then I think he actually told Tommy that Ghost was out of jail. So everybody knew Ghost was out of jail except for the people that worked for Ghost, which I couldn't understand throughout the whole show. And so he tells Tommy that, you know, he needs Ghost out the picture. And Tommy tells him, Tommy like got up in his face real quick and says, I'm not going to kill Ghost. So that's what this is about. This conversation is over with. So the guy tells him that, you know, getting rid of Ghost right now would be a bad move, and it would implicate Tommy because the feds would immediately think that he killed Ghost so that Ghost couldn't reveal that he was Ghost, or however that worked out. And so he wants Tommy to just cut ties with Ghost completely because he got some plans for Tommy and Ghost can't be a part of it. So Michik claims, you know, he wants Tommy to meet some people out in Los Angeles and possibly run operations for the East Coast and the West Coast. And he just doesn't want Ghost involved. I mean, is he serious? Like, does he not know what a wild card Tommy is? And Tommy just ain't got the brains to be running that type of operation, you know, coast to coast and all that. But, you know, Michik seems to have a lot of confidence in Tommy. So him and Tommy shake hands, and Tommy say, you know, getting Ghost out of his life won't be an issue. And, you know, he ready to get on back on the road and get back to New York. So then Michik said, no, we got to celebrate tonight. I'm not already planned the party and everything. So I'm thinking this is about to be some big celebration. No, they had some restaurant that Michik probably owned, and Tommy was there, and some of Michik boys was there, and then they had some girls there, and Tommy, you know, he drinking and carrying on, telling jokes and just oversharing. So he revealing how his mom made him get his first job as a bouncer at a strip club, and oh, by the way, I killed Milan. He just put it out there on the table, and I'm just like, oh my God, Tommy, what have you done? So Michik tells his girl to bring him the specialty liquor for Tommy. So just like, oh my God. So next scene we have Tommy walking out to the parking lot, you know, with Michik and his guys, and then he realizes that, you know, he's a little tipsy and that, you know, whatever they gave him was a little stronger than what he was used to. So they knock Tommy across the head and throw him in the trunk of his car. I'm just like, oh my God. So while they were riding, Tommy comes to in the trunk and he's trying to listen to what the men are saying, but they all speak in Serbian, so he don't know what they talking about. So they pull into the woods, and you can hear like airplanes and stuff flying overhead. And so they park the car, get Tommy out, and then he's like still cracking jokes, trying to figure out what's going on. And then they end up at this big grave that they done dug. Like, it wasn't a grave like when you die and they dig the grave at the cemetery. It was like 3 times as big as that grave. So I'm like, okay, well, what are y'all about to put in there? So they want to kill Tommy for ordering the hit on Milan without permission. So Tommy and Petar started arguing back and forth, and I didn't even realize that Petar was there. I was like, okay, where did Petar come from? But I guess he was at the party all along, and I just wasn't paying attention. So then Patar and Tommy start going back and forth, and Tommy was like, no, I asked Patar, and Patar said that Jason gave his approval, and Patar was like, he's lying, that never happened, you know, I told him I need to get with you. And so they're going back and forth. So then Tatiana, who must be the baddest bee of all, because she walks up, and then Jason pulls her to the side, so they get to talking, and evidently he asked Tatiana who she thought was telling the truth, and she said that Tommy was telling the truth. So Jason walks back over, and they got Tommy down on the ground with his hands tied behind his back, and Jason pulled out the guns and pointed it towards Tommy, and then Tommy started having visions of Holly and making love to Holly. He thought he was gone to heaven, but then when the gun went off, Patar fell in the grave. It was just like, these people are so ruthless. Like, how could you live this life where you don't know from second to second if you're going to be on the other side of a bullet? Tommy was relieved, and he helped them bury Patar. And then he told Jason, you know, that thanks for trusting in him, and but I ain't never walking behind you again. So when they got ready to walk back, so then Jason gave him the keys to his car, and Tommy was like, no, you first, you go ahead. And so he was telling Tommy, oh, you're funny, I like you. So they have made Tommy Milan's successor. Oh God, I don't know how any of this is going to work, or how these people got to the positions that they were in, trusting crazy people like Tommy, but they think it's a good move, so we're gonna see how this work out for Tommy. So on his way back to New York, Tommy makes a detour to Cleveland, Ohio. So he shows up at a house that's for sale, and there was a realtor that came up, and he was going into the house to, you know, prepare for an open house. And so Tommy goes in, you know, and the guy's like, oh, the open house hasn't started yet, you know, but Tommy was like, he wanted to look at the house anyway. So they get to talking and walking through the house, and we find out that the guy is Holly's uncle, the one that she said molested her as a child. So, you know, Tommy about to do some damage. So two of them get to talking about family, and if Tommy got any kids, and Tommy asked him, did he have any kids? And the guy said, yeah, he had 2 daughters. And then Tommy said, Tommy brought up about Holly, and then the guy was looking like, Holly? How you know about Holly? So then he says that Holly wanted it. And Tommy was like, how does a 9-year-old want to be raped and molested? And the guy said, well, some girls, you know, they're faster than others, and that was the wrong mistake. And let's just say that Tommy did to the uncle what Ghost did to Clyde Williams in that weight room. It just was not pretty. It was messy. It was disgraceful. Whew. How many people that make yeah, that's what, 2 people that died so far in the episode. But here goes Julio's sexy ass, and he has a meeting with Dre. And so when he gets there, Graham is sitting there, and he asks Graham, you know, where's Tommy? And Graham says, no, Tommy ain't there. So then Dre finally shows up and lets Julio know that Ghost is out, and he's on his way to talk to Ghost about them running them, you know, finding out how much Ghost know about them running the drugs through the club. And I'm thinking, why does nobody in Ghost's organization know he's not in jail anymore? Like, was it not on the news? Were they not talking about it on the radio, social media? Like, how could these guys be so secluded that they don't know that the man has been released? So Dre is seriously feeling himself, talking to Julio like he's new to the game. Like Julio don't know what's going on. Then this punk really starts feeling himself and orders a hit on Julio. I'm like, no, 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 Dre, what are you doing? So Dre thinks he's smarter than a 5th grader, but his day is coming, and the sooner the better. And I was really rooting for Dre in the beginning, but now he really needs to be the next one to die on this show. So Julio shows up for the meeting with Dre and the new connect, and realizes that Dre set him up. So it was 3 against 1. But Julio didn't go down without a fight. Julio took 2 of them out, and when the scene ended, you know, he still had a little breath left in him. So I don't know if Julio dead or if he gonna be resurrected like Kanan was resurrected. But Dre told the hitman not to make it look like a Toros Locos hit, because the people that Cristobal brought in, they were with the gang, the Taurus Locos gang. But the guy couldn't resist, and so he cut, Julio had that 718 tattoo on his neck. He cut all that skin and meat off of Julio's neck. It was like dangling, and I was just like, oh my God, this is so gross. So Julio may or may not be dead, and if he is dead, then that's the third person on this episode that we saw get slaughtered. So if they let Julio die, they will have no one having Ghost back who doesn't have a hidden agenda. And like Ghost needs to have that one person that he can count on who's only looking out for his interests and his interests only. But I don't know who that person could be at this point. So then we have a brief scene with Tasha and Keisha, and they meet for coffee, and Tasha, still got that little smug attitude going on, and is really working my nerves right now. So Keisha is asking about the shop, and then, how long is it going to take them to get the drugs out of her business, because she don't want no part of this. She don't know what's going on. So then Tasha's like, sure, it's going to happen soon enough. And then I think Keisha said, well, what's going on? So then she starts talking about, well, Ghost is home and blah, blah, blah. And Keisha was like, girl, I ain't talking about your family. I'm talking about me. Like, how's my life going to get better? So Tasha really looks stressed out, and then she can't get in touch with Tommy. Hell, nobody can get in touch with Tommy. And I think it's really got her on edge, and she's starting to, get kind of creeped out. So they better keep an eye on Keisha before she went down there with them feds and told everything that she knows. Then we move over to Tariq and his dumb behind. So he's sitting there with Jukebox. She done took him to some abandoned house. And I'm thinking, like, this boy, he has no discernment whatsoever. Like, what in the world is going on around me? Where is Slim? Like, he is just totally clueless. So he's sitting there playing video games and asking too many questions and giving too much information. And then I was sitting there thinking, now, y'all in an abandoned house. Why is there electricity running in this house? Like, who's paying the bill in this vacant house? Anyway, so he done messed around and let Jukebox get his phone, which I can't believe he still had on him in the first place. Because if you kidnapping somebody, the first thing you want to do is take their weapons and make sure they have no means of reaching the outside world. So now she's texting Tasha like she's Tariq, and asking if she can stay another night, if he can stay another night with Calvin and all this other foolishness. And of course Tasha says okay. So Tariq, he asks Jukebox. So later on that night, him and Jukebox sitting there talking, and she giving him some more of this lean, but probably done put some extra in there to knock his butt out. So he asks her, well, how did you get the name Jukebox? And she says, because when she was growing up, she knew all the songs on the radio and could imitate anybody. And this little exchange between Tariq and Jukebox kind of let you know that Jukebox was really damaged. She was damaged property, and she got some other stuff going on that we probably could never relate to. And so when she asked Tariq, what song Tasha liked to sing, he said Midnight Train to Georgia, but he didn't know whose song it. So then she was like, Last Night. So then Jukebox was offended, when he asked her if she could sing the song as good as Tasha. And she said Tasha couldn't out-sing her on Tasha's best day. And I was like, okay, then let's hear what you got, girl. So then as Tariq was, then Tariq asked her if she had ever heard of Mahaya. So she was like, Mahalia. And yes, I have heard of her. So as Tariq was passing out from whatever she put in that drink, she started singing His Eyes on the Sparrow. So the following morning, Tariq, was in the bathroom getting ready for school, like he really thought he was going to school. And Jukebox was standing at the door, rushing him out. And so he comes out ready for school, talking about, he had to hurry up and get to Calvin's house because his mom likes to be early, and he needs to, get over there and be waiting outside when she gets there. And I'm like, boy, you are so naive. So Jukebox ends up, smashing him across the head with her gun and talking about, look what you made me do, boy. I didn't want to hit you with this gun, but you're so stupid. I was like, that's probably what she was thinking. So did she quit her job as a police officer or whatever it was? Because it seemed like she done had a lot of free time on her hand lately, or maybe these was her 2 days off, or I don't know. But Jukebox done lost her mind. Then Kanan and Ghost arrive at the house, and Kanan, gives Ghost his gun back with the clip. And then Ghost immediately points it at Kanan, and Kanan lets him know how predictable he is, but explains that Jukebox is going to kill Tariq as soon as she gets the money. And so he doesn't know, who she has in the house with her or what she's going to do to him. But, despite their history together, him and Ghost can work together to save Tariq. And I think, you know what, Kanan is just like 50 Cent. Act tough, but really a softie at heart. So the final scene lasted about 5 minutes too long. Because, when it comes to conversation and dialogue, and if too much talking is going on, somebody gonna get got. And so you have to be loyal to the plan, because when you start giving speeches and exchanging dialogue, you leave the door open for the double cross. So Jukebox dead, Tariq is free, but ain't ever gonna be the same again. He now knows his daddy is a murdering gangster, that Kanan killed Sean, who was actually his son. So when the conversation was all over and done with, Jukebox was dead, Tariq life ain't never gonna be the same again. He now knows that his daddy is a murdering gangster, that Kanan killed Sean, and that Sean was Kanan's son, and that most of all, that Tariq knows that he's not about this life, and that these streets will gobble him up and spit him out with no hesitation. Woo! What an episode, what an episode. I think we had about 4 or 5 people killed in this episode, and not just killed, but just blood splattered everywhere, brains blown out, beaten out, just all kind of stuff. And just the way they did Julio just broke my heart. But hey, that's what this all about, right? That's what we're here for. So guys, let me know what you thought about this episode. Let me know if I missed anything or confused anything. And what do you think about my theory on Tasha and Silver? Leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. You can do all of that below. And until the next time, I hope everyone has a fantabulous and safe week. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.